So I know I'm super late, but over like the Christmas break or Christmas holiday, I think like the movie Bird Box came out on Netflix, and I had like saved it to my list on Netflix before, like when they first announced it, but I did not think it was gonna be a big deal. And like everybody was talking about the movie. It was memes all over the place. Like people have been applying like Bird Box to like everyday life situations. And so I watched the movie after all the hype, but it's actually a terrible movie. Yeah, so if you want to know why I think Bird Box is like not a good movie, make sure you stick around. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tales. If it's your first time here, make sure you go ahead, click that subscribe button. You here, so you might as well, you know. We would love to have you a part of the family. Today I'm gonna be doing the fourth episode of Culture Shock, and it's gonna be a little bit more like lighthearted in comparison to the one that I did previously on R. Kelly. Since Bird Box was like such a like cultural like thing, like everybody watched it. And if you haven't, you know, watched it, I would say like take the time to watch it, but not really, because it was kind of a waste of time. Yeah, so they're gonna be spoilers alert, so if you haven't watched it, I would recommend that you do go back and watch it. So I'm gonna give 5 reasons as to why Bird Box was a terrible movie. And I just want to say right off like the bat that Sandra Bullock, her acting was phenomenal. Like her acting was great, but like the story itself, like I'm just like, I don't know if I can get on board with this. So here are my 5 reasons as to why Bird Box was a terrible movie. So number 1, there was no context. Like all of a sudden she is like just painting, she's pregnant, and then she goes to the hospital and all of a sudden people just like start committing suicide. It kind of reminded me of The Walking Dead. In The Walking Dead, if you watch that TV show, you know that like they don't know why people like turn into zombies. They only know that everybody has the virus, but they don't know like why it happens. And I kind of felt that it was the same way in this movie. Like at a certain point, like it's like normal life, and then everybody just starts like seeing this thing. And I would imagine that people see different things, but for whatever they see, it like makes them like harm themselves and want to commit suicide. And I just didn't like that they didn't explain like what led up to that. I think that for a TV show that might work, like not giving any type of context might be okay. But just for a movie, I don't know, like it just didn't draw me in like the way that I was hoping that it would. And so I'm just like watching people jump out of windows, and like it was just like, okay, so like, and then too it's just like Sandra Bullock is like running in the middle of the street pregnant after her sister sees the thing, and like she doesn't see the thing. The fact that they didn't really explain like what the thing is, like what happened, I just didn't think it was good for this movie. Number 2, because there was no context as to why, you know, or what this thing is, or why people saw what they saw, it created a binary where people were either good or bad. And I didn't like that, because it's like in the movie, if you saw the thing and you could walk outside and not be okay, and you saw the thing, it essentially meant that you were like a bad person or that you were crazy. And if you were like trying to protect yourself from seeing the thing and you ended up seeing it, then it ended up killing you, and those people were kind of the good people. And so it's created this binary of where if you see the thing and you are able to survive, then you're bad, but if you see the thing and you're good, then you don't survive. And I just think that humans are like way more complex than that. There's not like good or bad, like there are people in between. Also, when Sandra Bullock was like running in the middle of the street, like she's just looking around at everybody and she is like fine. And so I guess that's left open for interpretation. I guess I just thought about it, but like, was she bad or was she good? I mean, she did some good things, but she also did some bad things, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I don't like the binary that it creates, because people are just like, they're not good or bad, they have elements of both. And my 3rd reason why Bird Box was bad, like kind of going along with that, is like it criminalized mental illness in a way, because there was like a part where a guy broke into the house and he had said something about he had just come from like the crazy house, and they were like, the crazy people in there were trying to like make everybody look at the thing. I'm not trying to be like PC, politically correct, like I know it's a movie, but at the same time it's just like, again, kind of going along with that binary, like what are you trying to say? You know what I mean? Also, I think that could have been avoided if they had like actually told us what this thing is. The fourth reason I thought that this movie was not good was the character development was poor. I mean, there was like really no background given to any of the characters. We got a little bit of background on Sandra Bullock's character. I think her name is Mallory. We got a little bit of background on her, but it wasn't to the point to where I cared. I didn't care about any of the characters. Like I didn't care that any of them died. The only one that I cared about was like the old guy who was kind of like, I'm never wrong, that guy, because he wasn't wrong, you know what I'm saying? And even though he seemed to be stubborn and selfish, he ended up like trying to like look out for the people that was, you know, that he had like kind of taken to safety with, and he was trying to give like words of wisdom and words of advice, but they just wasn't even trying to listen to him. And so basically, because they didn't listen to him, they was the reason that he ended up dying. And so like, that's the only one I cared about, but like all the other ones, like I just didn't even really care. There was no background on nobody. Like I didn't feel attached to nobody. No. Yeah, so my fifth reason as to why Bird Box was like not a good movie was because there's no resolve. At the end, we see Mallory do everything she can to try to get her kids to safety, and she finally becomes comfortable with her position as a mother, and she actually ends up naming the children, and she just kind of like faces reality. But at the same time, like I just kind of feel like that's not realistic. One, because from the beginning, like Mallory was like a really grumpy person, and we never get to like really explain, they never really explain why she was so grumpy. Grumpy may not be like the best word to use, but that's the word I wrote on the paper. But yeah, like she's just really grumpy. She's just really like, she seems very isolated from life. And so we never really get the total background of like why that happened. Like we know she didn't have like the best childhood, but like still. So at the end, she just kind of goes from being grumpy to just be like, oh my God, you know, I'm gonna embrace motherhood, and I'm going to, you know, name these children, I'm gonna set these birds free. And I'm just kind of like, I don't buy it. You know, I don't buy that she just has this spiritual awakening. Like I don't buy it. I don't know. I think part of the reason is because like we never really, like we kind of know who she is, but we kind of really don't. And so like when she just does a 360 and say, oh, I'm gonna be, you know, a happy mother now, just kind of like, you know, I guess. Also, she ended up being with Tom, her boyfriend, for 5 years after they escaped the house. They lived together for 5 years, and it was clear that she loved him, and I guess in some way she wanted to honor him, which is why, because that was the person that she loved, and because he loved others, I guess she decided that like, okay, I'm gonna try to be a mother to these kids, and I'm gonna try to think positively. But just considering that she was already so grumpy and that her childhood didn't seem the best and like things of that nature, I just think realistically, she probably in real life, if this was a real thing, I don't think she would have become more optimistic. I think she actually would have become more pessimistic and more like just frustrated with life. And so they end up going to, that's all notes I have, but they end up going to a school for the blind, and so they kind of take shelter there, and she ends up coming across her OBGYN, who turned out to make it, which she was kind of like I guess relieving the way it seemed, because it kind of like is somebody from her past, because mind you, she lost everyone, so that's kind of like somebody that she knew. It's like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Overall, I think the concept of the movie was great. I think the idea that we as humans battle unseen forces or spiritual forces, I think that's like a very plausible idea, and that sometimes it can shape what we see, and that can either be key to our survival, or you know, the key to our downfall. I think that's a very, very real concept. I just don't think it was executed, you know, good enough. I think it was such a missed opportunity. But I'm also keeping in mind that it was Netflix, right? It wasn't like no blockbuster 20th century production. So, you know, I am keeping that in mind. I don't know that I would watch it again. Anyway, that's my review of Bird Box. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. That's all I have for you guys today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on your way out and check out my other content. I have culture shock videos. I have sister log videos. I'm just trying to give you guys what I am interested in, and also what I think you guys will be interested in. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.